Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend previewing all of the Premier League and Championship action this weekend after the international break. And we're going to start off in the Premier League at Leicester versus Chelsea, and this is an interesting one. Both teams actually slipping up last time out. Leicester, it did look like they were picking up, but they've only picked up 1 point for their last two Premier League games. Chelsea, obviously that draw against Burnley, really not a good result. So I think both teams will be looking to get back on track here. But if you just look at the two squads, for me, Chelsea I think will be slightly too good for Leicester here. It's Steven Gerrard's first game in charge of Aston Villa as he takes on Brighton. And yeah, this is an interesting one. Obviously Villa, they've lost their last 5, and Brighton, they haven't been in great form as well. Winless in 5, but they have drawn 3. That is in all competitions. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see which way this goes. I just think Brighton, they are still a good team. Probably better than Villa, or definitely so at least this season. But I think that new manager bounce will give Villa a win here. It will be tight, it will be scrappy, but I'm going to say Villa will pick up the W. Moving on, Burnley host Crystal Palace at Turf Moor, and Burnley will obviously be on a massive high. They've now won and drawn their last 2, so they're definitely on the up. But Palace as well, they've won their last 2, and they're looking like a seriously good team at the moment. Yeah, they've got their players coming back now. Eze, maybe he'll feature, maybe he'll not. It's too soon to say, I would guess. But yeah, I can't wait for this one. Palace looking really good. Burnley on the rise. But yeah, I think it'll be a draw. I don't think there'll be much to separate these two sides. It's Eddie Howe's first game in charge of Newcastle as they host Brentford in a game which Newcastle will really be targeting. Brentford, of course, they're on a really bad run at the moment. Lost the last 4 in the Premier League, obviously won in the League Cup, and Newcastle obviously not much better, but a draw at home away to Brighton last night, it wasn't a dreadful result, even if they had no goalkeeper for 10 minutes, but we'll skate over that. But I think, yeah, the positivity of the new manager in now, I've got a feeling they might get the win. I'm going to say 1-0 to Newcastle. Speaking of teams with new managers, Norwich and Dean Smith's first game in charge there, for me that's a very good appointment. Will it be enough to save them from relegation? To be honest, I have my doubts. But I think for the position at Norwich, and that's about as good an appointment as they really could have got, to be honest. And yeah, a 2-1 win last time out against Brentford, so they'll definitely come into this one with confidence. Southampton as well, they've won their last 2, but I just fancy that new manager bounce. I'm going to say Norwich will pick up the W here. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on, Watford host Manchester United, and what really is a must-win game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Obviously, that 2-0 loss to Man City before the break, and yeah, they just looked atrocious, didn't they? So yeah, they need to win this against the Watford side, who aren't on the greatest run themselves. Lost 4 of the last 5. So they need a result here, United, and yeah, I think they will deliver. If they don't, then I think that's probably the end of Ollie, to be honest. I'm going to say a 2-0 United win. Moving on, Wolves host West Ham at Molineux, and yeah, Wolves, they come into this on a pretty decent run of form. They did lose to Palace before the break, but before that they were on a great run of form. West Ham as well, that 3-2 win over Liverpool before the break, just an absolutely wonderful performance, and they're absolutely flying. So two teams definitely on the up, having a really good season so far, especially in West Ham's case. So I'm looking forward to this one, and I do feel like it could go either way. But I'm going to say a West Ham win. They just look absolutely on fire at the moment under David Moyes. And moving on, Liverpool host Arsenal at Anfield. Liverpool obviously wants to bounce back from that 3-2 loss at West Ham. But Arsenal, they've won the last 4 now. They're going really strong. I do feel like it's finally starting to click for Mikel Arteta. So yeah, he'll be hoping it continues here, but Liverpool is a tough game. They won't want 2 losses in a row, otherwise they could start to lose ground, especially on Chelsea. So yeah, I do think they will need a win here, and I do think they will probably get the win. I will say 2-0 to Liverpool. Moving on then to Sunday's action, and Man City host Everton at the Etihad. And yeah, you've got to be fancying a win for Man City here. 2 wins on the trot in all competitions before the break after two losses. But Everton, they're on a bad run of form. They did play really well against Tottenham. But yeah, Man City, at the moment, to be honest, they're just a totally different kettle of fish to Tottenham. So yeah, I can only see this being a comfortable City win and probably heaping more pressure on Benitez. I shall say 3-0. Moving on then, Tottenham host Leeds at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And yeah, Tottenham, 0-0 draw last time out against Everton, but Conte 2 weeks to work with the players. Hopefully that's like the time he needed to get the squad firing again. Leeds, 4 points from 2 before the break. They were starting to pick up a bit, so they'll come into this one with some confidence. But Conte's first home league game, really you've got to be favouring Spurs in this one, and I think they will get the win. I'm going to say a 2-0 win. Moving on into the Championship action, and starting off with Friday night in a London derby, QPR take on Luton at Loftus Road. QPR, you could say inconsistent as ever so far this season. Drawn, lost, and all in the last 4. So that kind of just sums it up. Luton as well, 1 lost. So 2 inconsistent sides. It's kind of hard to predict the results, but that's the Championship for you. I just feel like QPR home advantage, slightly better side. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on, Bristol City host Blackburn at Ashton Gate. Bristol City, they come into this one in not great form, it's fair to say. Lost 4 of the last 5. And then Blackburn, 1 for the last 4, but of course that's a 7-0 defeat to Fulham. But they're still in pretty decent form. Just forget about that game, for the love of God. That does make it quite a hard one to call. Bristol City obviously finally got that home win last time out against Barnsley. I'm going to predict a draw here. I'm going to say 1-1. I think it'll be a close game. Moving on, Fulham host Barnsley at Craven Cottage. At time of recording, no new manager for Barnsley, unless I've just totally missed it. Well, I don't think I have. And Fulham, they're absolutely flying at the top of the table. 1 of the last 5. They did have a little bit of a blip, but they're definitely up and up again. Barnsley, of course, got that win over Derby, but then lost to Hull. So it kind of back to the status quo then for Barnsley, when we look like getting a bit of hope. And can you really ever see any other result than a comfortable Fulham win? I'll say 2-0, but I can easily see it being 3 or 4. Moving on, Huddersfield host West Brom at the Kirklees Stadium, and Huddersfield, another one of those inconsistent Championship sides. Lost 1, drawn, lost 1, 1-1, drawn 1, and lost 1 in the last 4 games against West Brom, who they have been quite inconsistent themselves, but we know how good that West Brom side is. They just really need to find some form. And it'll be interesting to see if they do. I'm going to say a 1-0 win for West Brom. I do think they will have too much quality. Moving on, Hull take on Birmingham at not Loftus Road, the MKM Stadium. I don't know why I thought it was QPR. But anyway, Hull, of course, getting that huge win over Barnsley last time out. How big could that be for their season after going on a really bad run? And they're in 22nd now. And then you've got Birmingham, who obviously lost to Reading last night. That was a really disappointing result. So it's all about how they recover. But I think this will be a closely fought game, and I'm going to say 1-1. Moving on, Chris Wilder's first game in charge of Middlesbrough is at home to Millwall. And this is an interesting one. Obviously, I think I said on the last review that getting rid of Warnock was a strange decision for me after a really solid point. But he'll be looking to build on that, I think, Chris Wilder. And Millwall, they're on a decent run themselves at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see which way this goes. I think it could go either way, but I think the new manager bounce for Middlesbrough will really be a key part for them, and I think they will pick up the W here. I think it'll be tight, but I'm going to say a 1-0 Middlesbrough win. Moving on, Reading host Nottingham Forest at the Select Car Leasing Stadium, and this is an interesting one. Reading, obviously we're on a bad run, but they've got that win at Birmingham last night, so hopefully that'll give them confidence. They've had the international break to get a few players back as well, and then you've got Nottingham Forest, who kind of are inconsistent, like most teams in the Championship, after that little run under Steve Cooper. So it's hard to tell which way this game will go, to be honest, but I think Reading might just nick it and get 2 wins on the trot. I'm going to say 1-0. Moving on, Stoke host Peterborough at the Bet365 Stadium. Stoke are, they're on a pretty solid run at the moment. Drawn 1 and 1-2 the last 3. Peterborough, not so good, just 1 point from the last 3. So you definitely say Stoke favourites, but coming off the international break, you never know. With home advantage, I think this is one of their bankers of the weekend, and I am going to go for a Stoke win. I think it will be 2-0, let's say. Moving on, Preston host Cardiff at Deepdale, and this is another interesting one. Cardiff appointing Steve Morrison. I wasn't convinced by the appointment, to be honest. He did fine as caretaker manager, but nothing special. It's kind of a strange appointment for Cardiff. They normally go for experience, but I'm willing to give it time to see how it works out. As for Preston, inconsistent as ever. But yeah, I kind of fancy Cardiff to win here. New manager bounce. Let's just see how it goes, but this could go either way. But moving on, Swansea host Blackpool at the Liberty Stadium, and Swansea, they were running really well, weren't they? Before that 4-0 loss to Brom before a break, but that was always kind of a free hit for them. And Blackpool, they were 3 wins on the trot before a loss and a draw. So maybe they're just starting to fall away. But it's only 2 results, so I'll spare my judgment. But home advantage, Swansea playing some lovely stuff at the moment. I can certainly see Swansea winning this one. Moving on, Derby host Bournemouth at Pride Park, and with Derby, it's rumoured that another 9-point deduction is incoming. So I think that all but confirms their relegation, especially with a fire sale in January. And even in the position they are, it's looking tough for them at the moment. They just can't seem to win a game for love nor money. But as for Bournemouth, obviously I had that dip against Preston, but obviously back to their best against Swansea. I fancy them to get a comfortable win here. I'm going to say a 2-0 win. But anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Follow my link description for daily football news, and subscribe to my channel on the screen right now. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!